You're at a Chinese restaurant. The meal ends, and there it is. A pale, folded cookie with a slip of paper promising wisdom. You've cracked open hundreds of these, but fortune cookies don't exist in China. Ask for one in Beijing, and you'll get confused stares. This Chinese tradition is about as Chinese as apple pie. So how did an American invention become the world's most recognized symbol of Chinese food? Let's explore the process. The story starts in San Francisco's Japanese tea garden around 1900. Makoto Hagiwara, the garden's caretaker, served small cookies with thank you notes tucked inside. The cookies resembled Japanese Tsujiura senbei, traditional crackers sold at shrines near Kyoto for centuries. Folded, crispy, with paper fortunes inside. The recipe crossed the Pacific with Japanese immigrants who adapted it for American tastes, adding more sugar and vanilla. By the 1920s, Japanese bakeries across California produced these cookies for local restaurants. The connection to Chinese food came through simple proximity. In San Francisco, Japanese bakeries supplied nearby Chinatown restaurants. The cookies were cheap, novel, and gave customers a small gift at meal's end. Restaurant owners didn't care about origins, they cared about customers coming back. Making a fortune cookie requires precision and speed. The batter is simple: flour, sugar, vanilla, and oil mixed thin. Machines pour perfect circles onto a heated conveyor, each spreading into a 3-inch disc. The smell hits immediately: warm vanilla and toasted sugar filling the production floor. Timing becomes everything. The disc bakes for less than a minute until edges turn golden. At this exact moment, not 5 seconds before, not after, the cookie must be folded. Too early and it tears. Too late and it shatters. Workers once did this by hand, grabbing the hot disc, dropping a fortune, folding it in half, then bending it over a rod to create that signature curve. The whole motion takes under 3 seconds. Your fingers learn to tolerate heat that would make most people flinch. Everything changed in 1942. After Pearl Harbor, the U.S. government forced 120,000 Japanese Americans into internment camps. Families lost homes and businesses overnight. Japanese bakeries that supplied fortune cookies for decades stood empty. Chinese bakery owners saw opportunity. They bought equipment, hired workers, and took over production. Within 3 years, fortune cookies completed their identity shift. The recipe didn't change, but the people making and serving them were now Chinese Americans. Restaurants presented cookies as authentic Chinese tradition. Customers had no reason to question it. By the time Japanese Americans returned from camps, the fortune cookie had been absorbed into Chinese American culture. The original makers were erased from the story. But here's where the story flips. The fortune itself, that slip with wisdom or lucky numbers, has no Asian origin at all. Early Japanese versions contained simple thank you messages or classical poetry. The switch to American-style fortunes happened in the 1930s when bakeries realized customers wanted predictions, lucky numbers, romance hints. A Chinese immigrant named David Jung in Los Angeles claimed he started adding inspirational messages after seeing homeless men near his bakery. Whether his story is accurate, the format stuck. Today's fortunes are written by a handful of people in New York. One man, Donald Lau, wrote over 1 billion fortunes before retiring. The entire fortune-telling tradition? Invented by American copywriters. The scale today is staggering. Wonton Food Inc. in Brooklyn produces 4 million fortune cookies every single day. Conveyor belts run around the clock, machines folding cookies faster than any human hand ever could. Each cookie costs less than a penny to produce. The fortunes print on strips thinner than receipt paper. 6,000 fortunes per roll. Wonton Food supplies over 80% of American Chinese restaurants. But here's the diplomatic reality. Some high-end restaurants now refuse fortune cookies entirely, calling them tacky or inauthentic. Others double down, offering custom fortunes or artisanal versions with dark chocolate. The cookie has become a battleground for what authentic Chinese food means. A debate where everyone has opinions and no one has the final answer. What most people miss is the reverse journey. In 1992, Wonton Food tried exporting fortune cookies to China. The venture flopped completely. Chinese consumers found them too sweet, the texture strange, and paper fortunes inside food just bizarre. A product invented by Japanese immigrants, perfected by Chinese Americans, mass-produced in Brooklyn, rejected by actual China as too American. The company eventually gave up. Today, fortune cookies in China exist only in hotels catering to American tourists. They're imported, labeled as exotic Western novelty, served to visitors expecting a taste of home. The cookie completed a full circle across the Pacific, only to be recognized as foreign in the very culture it supposedly represents. The fortune cookie exists because of immigration, war, opportunity, and constant reinvention. Japanese tradition provided the form. American marketing added the fortune. Chinese-American restaurateurs made it ubiquitous. Brooklyn factories made it cheap enough to give away for free. None of this was planned. No committee decided fortune cookies should represent Chinese food. History just happened, through displacement, adaptation, and the simple fact that customers liked getting a small gift after dinner. The cookie doesn't belong to any single culture. It belongs to the space between cultures, where traditions mix and become something entirely new. Next time you crack open a fortune cookie, you're not holding Chinese tradition. You're holding over a century of American history, Japanese craftsmanship, wartime displacement, Chinese-American entrepreneurship, and Brooklyn industrial efficiency folded into one cheap, sweet moment. The fortune inside might promise wealth or wisdom, but the real story is the cookie itself, proof that authenticity is messier and stranger than any origin myth. So, what's your fortune say right now?